After a wild and crazy race at Daytona, the real season begins for these 36 drivers in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. We head a few hundred miles north to the state of South Carolina, and we are at the Darlington Raceway on Labor Day weekend for the Turkey Hill Truck Series Season number 8 in the Mello Yello Zero 200. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina, as we are here for the second race of the season in season number 8 of the Turkey Hill Truck Series. This is the Mello Yello Zero 200, 37 laps of action around this 1 1/3 mile oval. One of my favorite racetracks in the game and in real life, and we're here on Labor Day weekend as well. Of course, the Southern 500 tomorrow in real life. Definitely excited for that, but we're excited for the second race of the season here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And this being the first race, we're really going to see those ratings come into play, I believe. Of course, as the season goes on, we're really going to see who's good and who's not. But we're going to see who's good and who's not here today at the Darlington Raceway, no doubt about it. Got a first-timer on the pole. Memphis Fisher making only his second ever start on the channel, and he's going to lead us to the green flag. But then you got a lot of veterans right behind him there. Noah Clifton, Sebastian Kukulon, a couple of those guys who could easily surpass him in this race. Should be a fun one. I'm joined alongside Andrew Miller for the call of this one. And Andrew, this is a very short race, only 37 laps. There is going to be a fuel mileage window of about 19 to 20 laps right at the halfway point of the race. How do you think it's going to go, and what do you need to do to get the race victory here at Darlington, especially if you're someone that's maybe starts in the back, considering just how short this race is?
Oh boy, that is going to be tough for these guys in the back here. Darlington is a tough track to pass on, and with how short it is, you're going to have to try something different as far as strategy, trying to either probably going the short pit option is going to be the way to do it, knowing how tire wear generally is at Darlington. So trying to get the undercut might be the way to do it if you're at the back. If you're at the front, trying to respond as best as you can to all the different strategies. So I think this one could come down to much more of a strategy race than anything.
It definitely could, but of course, once you get down to the end of the race, end of a tire run, it does get difficult to pass. So we'll have to see how that all affects the event as well. There's 36 drivers in the field, and the points coming into this race are basically just how they were at the end of the Daytona race, just how they finished at Daytona, I should say. Of course, Shane Lake won that event at Daytona. He's got a 6-point lead on both Laura Chung and Noah Clifton. Zach Winkle and Ethan Lewis are both 8 points behind, and then John Anders and Eric Drew are both 10 points behind coming into this event here from Darlington. Of course, like I mentioned, starting on the pole position here, it is the number 32 of Memphis Fisher in his second career start on the channel. Alongside him, Noah Clifton there in the number 24. Sebastian Kukulon and Ryan Kingart make up row number 2. You got Eric Drew in the 22 and the 02 of Will Parrish. The last winner, Shane Lake, starts to the inside of Ethan Lewis, and then Aaron Abel to the inside of Josh Williamson in row number 5. Go through the field, make sure everybody is rolling off. Only a 37-lap race here today, but like I mentioned, there will be a cycle of pit stops about halfway through this race, about a 19 to 20-lap fuel run. But see how much that affects these guys. Of course, it will be difficult to pass here on this racetrack throughout the day, but we will see some passes for the race lead, I do believe. Just have to see how it all goes down. But Andrew, got a new guy starting on the pole, but you got Noah Clifton, Sebastian Kukulon right behind him. Who do you think is going to get the race victory here today at the Darlington Raceway?
Well, I'm looking at those guys starting in second and third. They've got the track position. They've got the experience. I think that I'd be favoring them, but I think if you're in the top 10, you definitely have a good shot. Beyond that, that's going to be really tough, just considering how much track position is going to be key.
It definitely will be, especially considering how short this race is as well. We're going to be out of here pretty quickly. It's Labor Day weekend, and we're at the Darlington Raceway here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Memphis Fisher and Noah Clifton on the front row. And we're underway in the Mello Yello Zero 200 here from the Darlington Raceway. Well, Sebastian Kukulon wasting no time, going to the race lead in the number 75. He's going to get a bonus point right there for leading a lap. Eric Drew up to second, and here comes the Daytona winner of Shane Lake up to third. Memphis Fisher did not get the best of starts right there. Actually tapped the outside wall off the exit to turn 4 there on the first lap. Aaron Abel, that inside lane just went right to the front, and pretty much everyone on that inside lane is finding themselves a little bit further up than they originally started. Noah Clifton still stuck on the outside lane. That's Juan Rodriguez to the inside of him right there. And he continues to fall back there on that outside lane. But Sebastian Kukulon, Eric Drew, and Shane Lake all clear in the top 3 positions.
Boy, that inside is definitely going to be where you want to be if you're going to be side by side. It's almost like a classic Martinsville. These guys are going to try and fight for whatever they can to try to get down to that inside lane and make sure that they're not going to be on the bad end like some guys scraping the wall there, getting the Darlington stripe early on.
Roberto Crown Jr. already has a little bit of damage in that 66 machine, and they're going to slide up a little bit right there. Evan Carlson in the number 38, moving to the inside of him there. I think I mistakenly called him Eric Carlson in the Daytona race, and I apologize for that. For some reason I want to say Eric Carlson. I don't know why. But Evan Carlson there in the 38 machine just outside the top 10. But up front, Eric Drew, one of the first-time drivers here in this series. This his second career start. Trying to keep touch with Sebastian Kukulon, Shane Lake, and Aaron Abel right there. Memphis Fisher has solidified himself in the 5th position right now. But they've got to spread out throughout that top 5. Here comes Owen Miles in the 12. And Nathan Stapleton in the number 40. They're inside the top 10, just behind Juan Rodriguez, who already has a Darlington stripe there in the 44.
Yeah, that's your surprise there, but it's a track where aerodynamics won't be as important. They'll definitely maybe hurt the handling a little bit if you get a bunch of side damage, but here comes the 22, big sling there to the inside, and that should be a pretty nifty move there.
If he can hold on to it right here, but Kukulon may be able to get a run on the outside lane as the tires wear out. That outside lane works a lot better through turns 3 and 4. Whereas 1 and 2, you always want to be on the inside lane. But Eric Drew is going to get it, and Eric Drew is going to get a bonus point right here for leading lap number 6. So Kukulon now down to second. Shane Lake and Aaron Abel closing in on this lead battle. Memphis Fisher all by himself there. Then Owen Miles, Stapleton, Juan Rodriguez, Clifton finally solidified himself in 9th. And then Ryan Kinghart rounds out the top 10. You got Eric Monaco there in 11th. Laura Chung, who was runner-up at Daytona. Ethan Lewis, 19 of Chris Reynolds. Derek Campbell midway through the field here. Josh Williamson got stuck in that outside lane. He's now down to 14th, and Joey Hightower there right behind him. Actually, I think the 56 is now in the 17th, or 16th position, I should say, just ahead of Joey Hightower there. And you got Nathan Ormond, and then the 30 machine of Casey Nanico with Roberto Crown Jr. rounding out the top 20 as the caution is out here at Darlington. And just like yesterday, I think Brad Stover got caught up in an accident here. Had a crash in qualifying yesterday that I think involved the 45. And I think it may have been Sam Adillo and Stover that got caught up. They're going to come down the pit lane here. And to be honest, you want to make sure you have the freshest tires at all times on this racetrack. But they will have to come back down again after this cycle. So a yellow flag here at Darlington on lap 8 of 37. We'll see how these drivers fare on the pit lane here. This is definitely going to shake this field up.
Yeah, this is where these guys are going to try to gain whatever they can, but just like you said, with how important tires are going to be, you definitely would take advantage of it as much as you can. So no surprise to see them coming down. This should put them to pit around lap 28 roughly.
And that'll be about 10 laps to go. It's actually a pretty nice time for a caution to come out, actually. It's not right at halfway. I mean, if it was right at halfway, but like just before halfway, that would really make it interesting, because then it would be a bit of a stretch. If it's like lap 15 or so, I don't think we'd be able to make it, but right here, it's a guaranteed 2-stop race for these guys. Eric Drew with 4 tires, as it should be. And then Aaron Abel is going to be second off the pit lane. Sebastian Kukulon, Owen Miles, and Shane Lake with Stapleton, Rodriguez, Laura Chung, Ryan Kinghart, and Eric Monaco, the top 10 off the pit lane. So an early caution here in the Mello Yello Zero 200. The first caution we've had here in a while for the trucks, I do believe, if I can remember correctly. It's been 2 years since we've had a truck race here. But either way, let's going to bunch these guys back up, and we're going to have a restart. But first, let's go ahead and see what happened. I believe San Mateo and Stover getting caught up in this one in turn number 2 here at Darlington. Well, this is what happened here. You know, we talk about how narrow of a groove this track is. Well, that doesn't work. Jonathan Logan actually got him the Stover there in the entrance of turn 1 and just spun the 45 around. There's just nowhere to go. They got together. They both lost control. But look at this. Igor Barreto right back in there, and then the 02 of Will Parrish. They both barely avoided, but San Mateo in the 88 unfortunately could not avoid it. He got caught up in that one with the 45 of Brad Stover. Minor incident, but enough to bring out the caution and set up an interesting run to the finish here at the Darlington Raceway.
Yeah, 3 wide at a track this narrow just does not work, and there's a little bit of contact, but my God, what a lucky escape for the 02. The fact that San Mateo was the only other truck collected in this is, I think, really telling of just how skilled these guys are, and that could have been 10,000 times worse for sure, but 45 and 88 getting the short end of the stick.
Absolutely. Well, Eric Drew is doing a great job right now, and only his second ever start, and he won the race off the pit lane as well, so we'll have to see what he does on the restart here in the Mello Yello Zero 200. We are back here at the Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina after that interesting incident there. I don't usually see a crash too often here, even though we get a lot of contact and a lot of damage at this track. This track isn't particularly known for having many yellow flags, especially with the trucks, but hey, give us a chance to bunch these guys up, and could see some strategy later on in the race, because that green flag cycle of pit stops, assuming the race goes green from now until the finish, it's going to be much closer to the end of the race. But you still want to take tires in that last stop, no doubt about it. Eric True up front, and only his second career start, and Aaron Abel, another second career start driver, right behind him in second. Sebastian Kukulon, Owen Miles, Shane Lake looking to open up the season with 2 straight wins. Nathan Stapleton, Guan Rodriguez, Laura Chung, Ryan Kingart, and Eric Monaco, the top 10. All 36 drivers still on the lead lap as we are back underway. Lap 12 of 37 here at Darlington. Pretty clean jump there for all the drivers. The nice thing about a single file restart is no one has the disadvantage of being stuck in that outside lane on the restart through turns 1 and 2, so everyone can generally stay in their respective positions. Here comes Kukulon in
stay
the
there
75.
for a little bit. Trying to take that lead back that he was able to get a little bit earlier, making the move underneath the 16, who was going to mention that a great pit stop, and actually a really nice run there off of turn 4, but here's where that outside's going to suffer. Right here through turns 1 and 2, him and Stapleton, unless Stapleton gets down there, almost chops off the
nice
98.
And, let him ahead right there. Yeah, that's the tough place. You know, turns 3 and 4, I mean, even once you get later on in the run and the tires were out, you actually want to be on the outside lane through turns 3 and 4. We'll just have to see how that all goes down. Number 22 machine, though, of Eric Drew continues to lead, but here comes Sebastian Kukulon and Owen Miles in the number 12. Great run for Miles in this race. And Laura Chung, oh boy, something's amiss on the 3. I don't know if he hit the wall really hard or what, but he really went off the pace there through turns 1 and 2. He may have just
I see a lot of side damage.
Monaco also hit the outside wall there. We'll keep an eye on that. Laura Chung gained a lot of ground, and with that, you saw it in the corner of your screen. Sebastian Kukulon back out front here at Darlington, and now Eric Drew stuck in that outside lane. I just think that's just how bad that outside lane is on turns 1 and 2. And I think Shane Lake just went up a little too high and just lost his momentum. I don't think anything actually happened to him. It's just that bad up there. It's a one-groove corner, and that's what makes this place so interesting. Let's Google on Miles, Chung, Abel, and Stapleton, the top 5 now.
I mean, that's why he was so desperate to get down. He pounded the side of Aaron Abel going through 1 and 2 there, and that could have been a pretty nasty wreck, but they keep it going straight, but Stapleton trying to make up that ground now. Oh my goodness, that outside is just no-go. Shane Lake has hit it again, and he's dropping back. 16's dropping. This is ugly.
Not at all what Shane Link wanted, especially after getting that win at Daytona. He definitely want to start off the season with a good jump in the points. How about Laura Chung, though? She's going to take the points lead if things go this way. And by the way, we missed another pass for the race lead. Owen Miles now out front in the number 12 machine. Hey, we'll catch it in the corner of your screen, so you guys won't miss it, even though we are. And now Kukulon falling back. Stapleton looking really quick here in the number 40. Great run for Nathan Stapleton here, but Laura Chung may just be one of the fastest guys out here right now. And she's got a very fast number 61 machine. Not quite halfway through this Mello Yello Zero 200 yet. Owen Miles now out front in the number 12.
Front two pulling away here a little bit. I'm sure the 75 is going to try to reel them in. Here comes Chung to the inside. And this is going to draw them pretty even down the back straightaway.
It will, but I think Chung's going to get the advantage here. Owen Miles wasn't even on the outside when they entered 3 and 4, and he's going to let Laura Chung take this lead away. Now Chung's going to lead a lap and get a bonus point towards the championship. Already twice as many leaders in this race than what we had the last time we came here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Owen Miles is going to look to cross over, though, and he may have an opportunity of doing so. I think Stapleton is one of the faster trucks out here as well, and if these guys continue the battle for the lead, whoever's in third here may end up closing right in on this lead battle.
It ain't going to take long at this rate. And even then, I see Kukulon pulling Stapleton along a little bit. They're starting to catch up, though. Of course, don't count out Kinghart there in 5th place. Of course, the Kingharts are always good in these NR offline races, so keep an eye out pretty much on everyone here in the top 5, and as long as everyone can keep it off the wall.
And if you don't keep it off the wall, just like that, Kukulon's in the outside wall, and Stapleton will take third away from the 75. The thing is, once that cycle of pit stops begin, you want to be up front. It's going to give you a little bit of, few options on how it all goes, because that last green flag run is going to be about 10 laps after the cycle of pit stops, and if you do the wrong strategy, you're not going to win the race. And I think the right strategy is coming in early. Here comes Owen Miles, and he's going to slam Laura Chung in the outside wall. And that's just one of the characteristics of this place. Like I said, we don't get many cautions here, but we get a lot of damage. And right there off the exit of turn 4, turn 2, it used to be the exit of turn 4 back in the day. Right off the exit of turn number 2 there, it is just such a hard place to get going. And if you can get someone stuck in that outside lane off the exit, you're going to take the race lead away, no doubt about it. Chung's going to try to do it to Stapleton right here. Stapleton's going to be a little bit cleaner off the exit right there. Ryan Kinghart going for the 4th position. Eric Drew is in 6th. Ethan Lewis, Aaron Abel, Derek Hamill, Noah Clifton in the top 10 right now. But Chung's going to get around Stapleton for the 2nd position.
I just had to shout out a good run there for the 7, getting up into the top 10. But, I mean, that's the thing with Darlington, and that's why they're hitting the wall so much. The groove is so narrow. Like, you see how bad the outside is, but the just the banking in general, where you have the most grip, is so narrow at this track. You can barely fit 2 trucks in there. So that's why they're hitting the wall so much. They're just trying to keep it off each other. Figure better to smack the wall as opposed to take each other out.
Absolutely. Joey Hightower to the inside of Derek Hamill. Tanner Parton in that battle as well for 10th. And Stapleton looking to cross back over again on Laura Chung, and he's really trying this time. But Laura Chung's just going to tap. It wasn't as significant as the last time, but even a little tap's going to cause you to lose your momentum, and Stapleton will take that 2nd position away. And honestly, I don't think, I wouldn't think, you never know with the cautions. I think that first one surprised us. I wouldn't think there's going to be any more cautions in this race. You come down now, you're winning the race if you're in that top 10. That's how much they lose on the tire wear at this racetrack. I mean, once you get to the end of the run, they're about 3 seconds off from where they were at the beginning of the run. So you definitely want to come down earlier if you want to get the race victory. Nathan Stapleton is closing in here. It's been a while since Stapleton has gone to victory lane as a driver. He's won 4 races already this year as an owner over in the IndyCar Series, but as a driver, it's been a while for him. We'll have to see what he can do here in this number 40 machine against Owen Miles in the number 12. A couple of guys. I mean, Stapleton is a lot more experienced than Miles, but Miles at this point is a very long time experienced veteran as well. So no surprise to see all 3 of these guys in the top 3 run as well as they are. Laura Chung's fallen back to 5th now in the 61, and Ethan Lewis is closing in the number 4. He's now up to the 6th position. But Stapleton really closing in fast on this 12 of Owen Miles.
Well, it might only be a matter of time here, but also matter of time. 11 laps to go. Pit stop's got to be imminent here, and like you said, the earlier you pit, the better off you're going to be at this point.
Stapleton wants the race lead, though. Wants the race lead, wants a bonus point. Ryan Kingart looking on Kukulon back in there now. Stapleton's in a tough position right here. It's really tough to get that inside lane to work at this point through turns 3 and 4. But he's going to do what he can to maybe get this run on Owen Miles, but Miles will keep that race lead on the outside lane. See anyone coming down? Not quite yet. I thought they'd be down by now. They came in a lap 8. Chris Reynolds a little bit off the pace right there. I think he got a little loose, and then you got Ethan Lewis falling back. Kingart's going to finally make the move on Kukulon there for the 3rd position. And these guys closing in here on now Eric Drew, who got stuck in that outside lane.
Well, it's at a point right now where it's like you got to pit here soon, but at the same time, I mean, if you pit at least a lap later, then that's one less lap that you're going to have to worry about saving. So, I mean, I guess it can go both ways, but predominantly, yeah, the sooner the better. And I'm actually surprised we haven't seen anyone yet.
Yeah, well, here comes Stapleton again. He's got another run looking to the inside of Owen Miles. And I think, maybe the caution laps had something to do with that. They got back to racing on lap 12, so that's only, if you count that, 17 laps. But Stapleton now out front with 8 laps to go in this race. We're closing in, once that cycle begins, these guys, they're going to be able to possibly go fuel only and actually still win the race. That's a tough one, but that may be the strategy that some of these guys employ. And here we go, Stapleton and Miles. They're going to be the first 2, but Stapleton was able to get that race lead before the cycle began. Ryan Kingart's going to lead a lap, so another bonus point going to be awarded to a driver. 6 different leaders so far in this race here at Darlington. We'll have to see where these guys end up falling in relation to everybody else. A lot of guys still staying out, though, but these guys here, assuming they take tires, are going to have the advantage. But the thing is, when they cross the line, they're only going to have 7 laps to go. And, I don't know. If you gain a little bit of time, it might be worth it, but we're just going to have to see. It's going to be right sides, at least for these guys. Nathan Stapleton there in the number 40 machine, and it's just right sides. Just right sides for Stapleton. Miles is still on the racetrack, and the caution is out. And another wreck. I think they had an issue coming in. Fogelman and Crown Jr. That is a massive disappointment for most of these drivers, who I think might get caught a lap down. Chris Tejada is the race leader. I think Stapleton's going to stay on the lead lap, though. It may actually cycle through. I think it might cycle through. Because Chris Tejada... Owen Miles, I think only a couple guys are going to get caught a lap down, and they were the guys who had their pit stall before the start-finish line. I'm trying to figure this out. They had the start-finish line who came in that first lap. Tejada, Durrani, Samadillo all stayed out. Those guys got caught up in the accident. Laura Chung, I think, won the race off of the guys who just came down. And we will have to see what timing and scoring says about all this. I think Laura Chung might end up being the new race leader because she was officially ahead. No, I don't know. I really don't know.
I swear that I saw her pit with Stapleton and Miles, so I would be surprised.
She may end up being on the tail end here. Ryan Kingart is shown the race leader, then Stapleton, then Lewis. They're still actually figuring out where the positions go. They're actually going to score Clifton ahead of Stapleton. But Laura Chung is actually on the tail end, along with Chris Reynolds and Roberto Crown Jr. That's a tough break for her. I think she had to stay on the pit lane for an extended period of time, however, because she had all that damage from all those Darlington stripes she accumulated. It's Kinghart, it's Clifton, it's Stapleton, Lewis, Eric Drew. Brian Webb is up to 6th. Tanner Parton, Owen Miles fell back to 9th, and then Derek Hamill will be inside the top 10. So those guys who stayed out, they're gonna find a place kind of midway through. Kukulon, I think, is going to lose a lot of ground here, but I think a lot of it just depends on the strategy play as well, because I think some guys were probably taking 4 tires and all of that, and some guys did not. I mean, I honestly don't know who has the tires and who doesn't at this point. That was interesting right there, but they obviously had an issue coming down. I think it was Fogelman and Crown Jr. trying to come down the pit lane, and it did not work. We just jammed it up on the entry and our second caution here at Darlington. Let's go ahead and see what happened, and let's try to make sense of all of this. Then we'll get to the restart. We're going to have a restart here in this Mello Yello Zero 200. Ryan Kinghart, Noah Clifton, Nathan Stapleton, the top three here in the Lady in Black. And it's been an interesting one here at Darlington. Let's see what happened to bring out the second caution here in the Mello Yello Zero 200. So coming off of turn 2 here, this may not even have to do with a pit stop, because Roberto Crown Jr. in the 66, they come up on Fogelman. Fogelman never comes down. That is actually kind of unique. I mean, there are guys trying to come down the pit lane, but Crown Jr. just goes up in the Fogelman, and I'm not sure if Crown Jr. was trying to set their entry up into the pit lane better or what, but yeah. Don't wreck the Grand Am Finger truck, man. But that's all that occurred. It wasn't, anything more than just these two drivers, but obviously when they're facing the wrong way on the racetrack, definitely need to call the caution out for it. Now, at this moment, the caution is out, so, we'll see, how all this plays out here. But, Stapleton had already finished his pit stop. Actually, I don't think the caution's out at this... Oh, yeah, it is. It is. So Stapleton is right here. And then you have all these other guys who are coming down the pit lane here. It's a little hard to really see it, but we'll go on this camera. Kinghart's already down. Chris Tejada, Ryan Durrani, and Nicholas Samadeo all stayed out, but they had to come down. They ended up going in the back of the field. Laura Chung here in the 61. I want to follow with her. I just realized my face is on that. I forgot about that meme, but whatever. And I think... I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's what it was, because Kinghart had surpassed her. Actually, that, or I don't know if she beat the pit, or the pace car, the pace truck. I find it interesting that she actually ended up on the tail end there. Of course, Monaco had the repair damage. He was on the pit lane for an extended period of time. And I think Kukulon as well. Actually, Kukulon came down with those guys, and I think that may have been what the issue was. And there's Laura Chung, which she was way behind Stapleton there, and that's where Stapleton is, and I think the pace truck picks these guys up down the backstretch, and yeah, she didn't beat the pit truck, but Stapleton did. Kinghart, obviously, you see right there, beating Stapleton, and then Ethan Lewis there, beating Owen Miles. Miles, she lost a little bit of ground there because he had an extended pit stop, so it makes sense why Laura Chung was off the pace. She did actually have a very slow stop there, because she had the repair damage, and she was off the pace just a little bit there. And Bertrand Crown Jr. never came down the pit lane. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Ryan Kinghart, the race leader. Let's go ahead and replay that accident in real time, and then we'll get you to the restart here from Darlington.
So yeah, just going down the back straightaway, and not too sure what the 66 was exactly what he was doing, or if he was some kind of a temper flare up there, or what. Is a lucky escape for Samadeo there after being involved in the first one, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how happy the 23 driver is going to be with him, but one thing's for sure, this is going to create for one heck of a finish.
Absolutely. Ryan Kinghart is the new race leader. Nathan Stapleton, however, is going to be right behind him with Noah Clifton as well. So only going to be 2 laps to go, but a lot can happen in 2 laps at any place. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Get to the restart here in the Mello Yello Zero 200. We are back here at the Darlington Raceway. Mello Yello Zero 200 is going to come down to a green-white checkered finish. How about that? Definitely interesting there. Of course, when we do this, I don't know who's got the tires or not, but obviously we went through that, so you all know how all that plays out, and you know why Ryan Kinghart is the race leader, and why Noah Clifton is second, and why Nathan Stapleton is third. You had Ethan Lewis, Eric Drew, Brian Webb, Tanner Parton, Owen Miles, Derek Hamill, and Evan Carlson inside the top 10. Kukulon fell way back in the 75. And then Nathan Ormond and Eric Monaco are a lap down. You have Chris Reynolds, Roberto Crown Jr., and Laura Chung on the tail end of the lead lap. And John Andrews is out of the race because of contact. Well, here we go. Pace truck's going to come down. And it's going to come down to 2 laps here at the Darlington Raceway between Ryan Kinghart and the field. Green flag back in the air. Will the lap traffic come into effect here? It's going to be interesting.
Just all push at this point. Just give it everything that you've got. Don't hold back.
Kinghart definitely wanted to get around Laura Chung there. The thing is, these 3 guys ahead of Kinghart are pretty much up to speed. They're bunched up, though. Clifton is there. All 4 of these guys are here. And actually, those 2 guys didn't come down the pit lane. And they just... Well, actually, Roberto Crown Jr. just came down the pit lane. Tanner Parton and Owen Miles are coming fast on the inside lane now. But Kinghart takes the white flag in the Mello Yello Zero 200. He's trying to get to the inside of Laura Chung. The possibly put him in between the 2 drivers. I think that might have been it right there. Ryan Kinghart holding on to the race lead. And Noah Clifton is just a little too far behind. It took a caution, but Ryan Kinghart is going to steal one here at the Darlington Raceway. Kinghart wins the Mello Yello Zero 200 with Clifton and Stapleton the top 3. Ethan Lewis, Brian Webb, Tanner Parton, Owen Miles, Eric True, Derek Hamill, and Thomas Troxel the top 10. The Roberto Crown Jr. had not made their pit stop yet. It came down right in front of the leaders. My goodness. Or they could have been penalized too. That's also a possibility. But either way, Ryan Kinghart gets it done here at the Darlington Raceway ahead of Clifton and Stapleton. Noah Clifton is going to be your new points leader heading into Atlanta next weekend. Can you make sense of all that happened there?
Kind of. All I know is, Kinghart nailed it right when he needed to. Gotta send a shout out to quite the "Where Did He Come From" story. Top 5 for Brian Webb there. Never really mentioned his name, and just like that, the 5th place finish. But an exciting race. Little crazy there on the last restart, but everyone keeping it pretty much as clean as they could.
It was interesting, to say at the least. 2 cautions in the race. Obviously, the incident earlier on between Stover and San Mateo, and then you had everything else after that between Fogelman and Roberto Crown Jr. Fogelman finished 16th. He was caught up in that. And then John Anders, the only driver to fail to finish in this race. You know, I say that we don't get many cautions at the track, and this is what we end up with. Hey, I don't know what else to say. Definitely a very fun race, though. Very interesting race here from the Darlington Raceway, and we will definitely have some more interesting races throughout the season. So take a look at the rest of the results right there. But Ryan Kinghart gets it done in the number 98 there, set of Clifton and Stapleton. I think Stapleton would have won this race hadn't that caution not come out. But Kinghart had the advantage of being the race leader there, and it all cycled pretty well for him to get that race victory. But I hate that had to happen, but it wasn't the worst thing we've ever seen. Let's put it that way. But hey, it's the way it goes. Like I said, next week we'll be at Atlanta, and it's the new Atlanta, so it's a little bit of a different for the Lily Trucking 200. I think a 33-lap race around the new Atlanta. It won't be as bad as it is in real life, though, because it's actually pretty decent track in the game. But how do you think the rest of the season is going to go down? I don't know if this race is much of a telling sign of who's going to be good throughout the season, but Laura Chung had a lot of speed before she had, that whole issue with the pit lane, and then Stapleton, Clifton was really fast, and Ryan Kinghart definitely appeared to be really fast here today. Obviously, grabbed the race victory here at Darlington.
I think it's just going to come down to what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are between the short tracks, intermediates, bigger tracks. Everyone kind of has their pros and cons when it comes to tracks like that. So it'll probably show over time. But you got guys like Kinghart, Clifton, Stapleton, Lewis, who are all really experienced. Derek Hamill. Also got a feel for Eric Monaco, who was on a good run and ended up finishing a lap down as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think the experience will start to show as the season goes on. But hey, some of these new guys, they can be pretty dang fast too.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it all goes down. You mentioned Monaco. I actually think he also had to repair damage as well. I think that's why Laura Chung and Eric Monaco fell back, because they had damage that they needed to repair, and they were on the pit lane for an extended period of time and actually got caught on the tail end because of that. They didn't beat out the pace car once they came back around. But, well, you guys saw all that in the replay. Enough about that. Ryan Kinghart gets it done at Darlington. Next week we'll be at Atlanta, and we'll see you guys there. Later tonight, we got qualifying for the IndyCar Series from Portland. And then tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, it is the Aero Grand Prix of Oregon from the Portland International Raceway in the Haas IndyCar Series. Only 5 races left to go in that series, and it's a very tight championship battle now, so definitely be tuned in for that one on Sunday. So thank you guys so much for watching. Huge thanks to Andrew for joining me alongside for this event. And we'll see you guys next weekend from the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Lilly Trucking 200. On behalf of Andrew Miller, congratulations to Ryan Kinghart. Here are the points for the Turkey Hill Truck Series after 2 races, and I will see you guys later.